It's John Lund Unleashed. Shout out to Lund loyalists watching on YouTube, those watching on X, Instagram, Facebook, and JohnLundUnleashed.com and the Lund Lunatics, listening to the podcast on Apple and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe and like John Lund Unleashed on YouTube and keep those alerts on so you don't miss anything. Now here's Johnny.
Hey, what's happening? Happy long holiday weekend, but there's no holidays when it comes to the NFL. They're playing Sunday. It's game week. Let's get to this thing, man. Let's go. It is Monday. It is game week. It is September. It doesn't feel like fall in the East Bay here. It is warm. Went for a swim today. Absolutely amazing. 625,000 reasons that Jauan Jennings is back on the field. I will explain that in a minute. It is great to have you here. We have a ton to get to today for episode 230. We'll do a check-in on the chat line in just a second, but good evening. It is great to see you. It is just after 7 o'clock Pacific time. And I hope you had a wonderful weekend as Bill Belichick is getting his teeth kicked in. Mia Hamm is there. Michael Jordan is there. Lawrence Taylor is there. There is a cast of thousands. And North Carolina got off to a 7-zip lead, but TCU is giving it to him. It's 27-7. Bill Belichick, oh boy. A long way to go. He said he was going to be the 33rd team. Yeah, North Carolina is getting smoked by TCU right now. But anyway, it is episode 230. And if you look over to the chalkboard, Game Check JJ, that's Jauan Jennings, will tell you why he's back. 625,000 reasons why he's back. Who else is back? I'll tell you. Who the 49ers also had on the field, and it's good news. Kendrick Bourne is in town. I have proof. First look at the Seahawks. Ricky, it's been a year and a day. Can you believe it? A year and a day since it happened. We'll explain what it is. You probably already know what it is. The NFL Wire. And it's going to be different, the NFL Wire, during the season because there's lots of stuff going on. But for the NFL Wire, where we widen out the lens to the rest of the league tonight, we'll just look more at the NFC West, and then we'll have an NFC West guest on tomorrow night, a good friend of mine in Seattle, and we'll start looking at the Seahawks and the 49ers a little bit more. And I'm a little bit higher on most than what the Seahawks are, and I'm not going to sit there and blow smoke up your ass. If I think that a team is good, I'll tell you. If I think that a team is not good, I'll tell you. I think it's going to be difficult to beat the Seahawks in Seattle. I think that Darnold's in a good offense like he was in Minnesota. I'm not normally a huge Sam Darnold fan, but I am a huge Mike McDonald fan, and I think this is going to be a good defense. So we'll get into that conversation, but we'll do an NFC West check-in. Rams are taking on the Texans. The Cardinals are at the Saints, and I really like their head coach, Jonathan Gannon. I just don't think they have a lot of talent. I just gave you the Belichick UNC debut, but we'll give you a little look at it, and then we have a sweet, clean, family-friendly Caboose pistol. I think after watching this guy, I think I can get in the Guinness Book of World Records. In fact, I might even try. But anyway, we got a ton to get to today. Plus the San Francisco Giants, 69-69. They're still not going to make the playoffs, but 69-69. That is very, very nice. So however you're watching tonight, it is great to have you. May I suggest that you come over to John Lund Unleashed on YouTube. Please subscribe. Have those alerts on. And if you'd get us a like before you get out of here, just hit us with the like. That would be outstanding. Also on the Bay Area Sports Collective, that would be nice as well. If you're watching on X, that's at John Lund Radio. You can always hit me up throughout the week. Questions, comments, and thoughts, as well as right underneath the show. If you're not watching live, hit me up with a question, comment, or thought. That would be outstanding. Well, John Lund Unleashed on YouTube. Let's say good evening to everybody. PR. Hey, Jay, what's going on? Enrique is here tonight. Joy, it is great to have you. Bebop, Jake is here. Mr. Oil is here. Wonderful to have you. Oh, let me go up a little bit. Eric, it is great to see you tonight. Christopher, it is great to see you, my friend. Jason, love the logo. Very nice. Look at 22 out there already. Very nice to see you. Buick Grand Sport, Francis, new names on the board. I love to see it. Happy NFL week to everybody. C559 is great to see you. Tony, good to see you back. Papa J, it is awesome to see you, my friend. So everybody, and I'll say if I didn't get to you tonight, I will absolutely get to you. But again, questions, comments, thoughts, hit them up on the chat line. If you 100% want to get your thoughts on the show, just hit me up with a super, and that would, of course, get you 100% on the board. And it would also get you to contribute to the show, which we always appreciate. So there you go. Any questions, comments, thoughts? You don't have to agree with the host. You know that. So whatever you want to say, you are welcome to here. You don't have to agree with me. All right, let's get things going tonight. And again, welcome. It is game week to get you ready for the 49ers and the Seahawks and the rest of week one in the National Football League for episode 230. So I told you this. It shouldn't have been a surprise to you if you're a regular viewer of the show. I said Jauan Jennings will play in week one against Seattle. He will be back. Why will he be back? How do you know? Lund, what are you talking about? How did you know that Jauan Jennings was going to be back? Well, after a week, I never bought the calf injury. It was more contract than calf, and I told you that. And I also told you after the first week when the Niners thought that they were going to get this done rather quickly, that all of a sudden, told you weeks ago that he was looking for $20 million. It came out a few days ago that it was, and everybody made a big deal of it. If you'd have been watching the show on a regular basis, I told you 2 weeks ago it was $20 million, and that's where they were. But here's why Jauan Jennings is back. Let's go to 2025, second column. Base salary, that's why he's bitching, $1.17 million. Signing bonus, that's prorated over the couple of years of the contract, the option. This right here is the big number. See right there that I just put in blue? $625,000 per game roster bonus. How does he get that? Well, he's got to be on the roster. He's got to be playing every week, right? Now, if he's hurt, he can get that. Roster workout bonus, guaranteed salary, cap number. Don't worry about any of that kind of stuff. Don't worry about dead money, any of that. Right there is why he's back. Because if he's on the roster for every game, he gets that $625,000. If he would have not reported this week, does he get $625,000? Great question. He does not. He doesn't get that $625,000 because they put him on some reserve list. If he doesn't report game week, then the 49ers, it didn't matter, right? Calf injury. No, I told you. Contract. It was a contract issue. And so he's not getting fined. He's holding in, not getting fined, not losing money, not getting fined, not losing money. And what did I tell you? I said on Monday of game week, he's going to report. Why? Because if he didn't, then the 49ers would put him on some list, some reserve list. Is he a member of the team then? No, he's on a list. Does he get his per game roster bonus of $625,000? He does not. So he shows up on Monday. Why? Because he wants his $625,000 per week. Because he doesn't get it if he doesn't show up. Doesn't get it if he's not playing. Doesn't get it if he's not on the roster. So Jauan Jennings shows up. But you would have known that if you watch the show. And you do know that. Because you do watch the show. So Jauan Jennings wants his $625,000, so he's going to show up. Is he happy? No. Are the Niners going to give him $20 million? No. Is he going to play out the season and probably leave the 49ers? Probably. But he's going to show up and he's going to make his money. He made his point. The 49ers offered him X amount of dollars. They offered to make a small adjustment in his contract, but they wanted 2 years. They want to extend it out a couple of years. He wants to be a free agent. It's kind of like the Kuminga situation now. Because Kuminga's saying, okay, I'm going to get, at some point, Kuminga's just going to play for a measly $7 million. He's just going to sign the 1 year deal, and then he's just going to be a free agent next year and just say, heck with it. Next year, I'll make up my money. And the Niners, who just let go of Deebo Samuel and just gave, obviously, Brandon Ayuk, who's hurt, a big contract, are not going to go back in and put $20 million to one player in that room. They just got rid of that in Deebo Samuel. I've told you that 50 times. And I'm sorry I have to keep repeating it. But they don't want to do that. And so they're at the point where they're like, look, we offered you a small bump, but we wanted an extra year out of it. You don't want that extra year. You want the $20 million, but you want to be a free agent next year. You want everything. We're not going to give you everything. So just play out this year. You could be a free agent next year. If you ball out, man, you're going to be out of our price range and you're going to leave anyway. And the 49ers learned a valuable lesson with Brandon Ayuk, which is there are a lot of wide receivers out there. They're banking on Ricky Pearsall being great this year, being their pseudo number one wide receiver right now. They're banking on Brandon Ayuk coming back, being healthy, and being a really good wide receiver. They don't have to pay Pearsall for a couple of years after this one, right? So Pearsall's manageable. Ayuk's getting paid. They'll find a third wide receiver. Maybe that's Jordan Watkins in a few more weeks after he gets over the high ankle sprain, or whomever. They bring in another wide receiver. Maybe they draft one, whatever. You need 3 and eventually 4 of these wide receivers, whatever. But they're not going to pay Jauan Jennings that kind of money. They like him. He's big. He's badass. He blocks. He does everything you're supposed to do. But they don't want to pay Jauan Jennings, a good player, $20 million. But Jauan Jennings, finally, as I told you the last time we spoke, isn't going to lose $625,000 every single week, or his per game roster bonus. His per game roster bonus is $625,000. And if he didn't show up on Monday, the Niners basically said, we're going to put you on that on reserve list, and you're not getting paid. You're not getting paid the first week. So that was, as I told you, the first time he was going to feel the pain. $625,000 right down the drain. So everybody else was like, oh my God, he showed up. Kumbaya. No, it's not kumbaya. He's pissed. It's not great. He dabbed up, Kyle Shanahan. He hugged John Lynch. He's playing the game because his agent told him, look, bro, just not going to happen this year. You get paid. It's not bad. You're not digging ditches. You're going to get paid, X amount of dollars every single week. You go out, you ball out like you did last year. And there's going to be teams that are going to pay you. It's just this team just got burned by Brandon Ayuk. This team just got rid of a big contract in Deebo Samuel, which, by the way, I showed you last week. Num, 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 num. They're eating $34 million in dead cap space to have Deebo Samuel play for Washington. So let's do a little math. They're paying Brandon Ayuk not to play to not play until, I don't know, week 6 or 8, but that's still wide receiver money. They're paying Deebo Samuel to play for Washington $34 million this year. That's wide receiver money. And you think they're going to also pay Jauan Jennings $20 million? Not happening. They're not going to put those resources in the wide receiver room. It's just bad timing for Jauan Jennings. Not a bad guy, really good guy, and they like him. But they're not going to put those resources in that room this year. So if you want to lose $625,000 that you're not going to get back every single week in a roster bonus, we dare you. And Jauan Jennings came back. And oh my God, the cap, it's a miracle. Yeah, when $625,000 per week is on the line, it's a miracle the calf is all of a sudden healed. So anyway, there's the deal. And he's going to play, and Pearsall is going to play. I don't know who the third wide receiver is going to be. Back at practice today, as you can see there from the great Jennifer Lee Chan. Jennings back, Gage back. I would imagine Gage could be the third guy. Who knows? Let's play. Let's have some fun, shall we? Let's share the screen and take a look. Who could be, because they like Russell Gage, and I tell you this all the time. For Kyle, it's about trust. So there's Pearsall, going to be Jennings. Watkins isn't going to play. Gage is probably the guy. I mean, that's who they trust, right? Sky Moore could be a guy, I guess, who could be that guy. I'm also concerned here. Barch just hasn't had enough time, but that's possible. Pooney came back. That's good. So your line looks like that's going to be the line. No problems with McCaffrey. Love Brian Robinson backing him up. He's wearing 3, not 30. Your D-line, hopefully Mikael Williams gets enough time. Bryce Huff, I loved him through camp. Anyway, little concerned at safety. Pinnock is going to be Sigel, who I love going forward, nervous going back. And his Stout had enough time, missing all that time in camp to be a starter in week number 1 against Seattle, but we'll find that a little bit later on. So I'm not going to talk all about that. I'm just worried about the wide receivers. But with Jennings in, Pearsall having the kind of camp he's had, and having the trust that I think Kyle has with Russell Gage, that's okay. That's an okay starting wide receiver core. Put in Kittle, put in McCaffrey. You can even move McCaffrey into the slot a little bit with Brian Robinson being as good as he is in the backfield. I could see a Robinson with McCaffrey still on the field, given the shortness that they have at the wide receiver position. Would not shock me in the slightest if Kyle pulled that out of his bag of tricks for week 1, put McCaffrey in the slot. How about that? If you had Pearsall outside, Jennings outside, and you moved McCaffrey in the slot and you put Brian Robinson in the backfield, now you're cooking with gas. That wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. So we'll see. We'll see what they do because, you got to be desperate when you have weird situations. And Gage, I think, could be in there. But we'll see. And then as far as Bourne is concerned, I mean, he knows the offense, but would you really throw him in there against Seattle in week 1? This is what I saw. You probably saw it on too. That's his Instagram. Goes a little Santa Clara. There's Bourne Polly, and he's in Santa Clara riding a little Uber. He couldn't do better than that. I mean, that's definitely Uber. That's not like a 49er pickup. That tells you kind of where he is in the pecking order. I don't think that's a 49ers employee. I think that's straight up Uber, isn't it? Isn't that Uber? Gotta be Uber. I mean, Niners, that's a higher end guy. They're picking him up. That's gotta be. That looks like an Uber to me. That should be 49ers employee, but that looks like Uber to me. But anyway, there's Kendrick Bourne confirming that he was in town today, and did hear that did a little bit of a workout with him. He seems to be healthy. I wouldn't imagine that he could go, like, let's say they signed him tonight or something. I couldn't imagine that he would go from back of an Uber, even though he knows the offense pretty well, on a Monday night to a Sunday being, we'll do that later, to a Sunday contributing in Seattle as much as he knows the offense and the, going to Seattle. I don't think that he would be up on game day, but that's not bad. As far as Bourne is concerned, do I love Kendrick Bourne? Do I just oh my God? He's okay. He had the drops the first time through. If you look at his numbers with the Patriots, they were just okay. But you know what? Given the lack of depth of the 49ers early in the season, I wouldn't mind Kendrick Bourne. If they signed him, I'd be fairly excited with that. I think that's a nice piece of depth, if they have to start him or play him too much early in the season. But remember, DeMarcus Robinson's out the first 3 games. If they can get those first 3 games, if they can somehow, and by the way, they're a 2-point favorite in Seattle, which is a little surprising to me. Seattle won 10 games last year. I think people forget that. Seattle won 10 games last year. This is not a bad team. They had the 9th best defense in football last year, and I think Mike McDonald in his second year is even going to be better than that. Their season hinges on Sam Darnold, and a lot of people are down on Darnold and think that from Geno Smith to Sam Darnold's a downgrade, and I'm not sure that's the case. You tell me. I think one of the interesting things, I'm going to play a piece from Mike McDonald a little bit later on in the show, because it's both Kubiaks. Not calling plays, of course. Kyle is still calling plays, but the co-offensive coordinator of the 49ers is Clay Kubiak. The offensive coordinator of the Seahawks is Clint Kubiak, and the Seahawks ran the ball really well in the preseason. Last year, their offensive coordinator was Ryan Grubb, coming off of a successful stint at the University of Washington. They couldn't run the ball at all. And maybe that's going to be the case in the regular season, but they greatly upgraded, I think, in their offensive line. And we'll get back into that. Ken Walker has been injured for them. He's back healthy. Zach Charbonnet had a great preseason for them. And I think they're going to be they're going to try to run the football and challenge the 49ers in that way. And then it's going to come down to Sam Darnold. They have some interesting deals at wide receiver. We'll get deep into that as the week progresses. But I think it's going to be, my point is I think it's going to be a tougher game than a lot of people are thinking at this point. So anyway, by the way, somebody's mentioning high noon. We had a bunch of extra ones in my outdoor fridge, and we did a clean out of the outdoor fridge today. And so my wife's like, can you get rid of these? Because I don't really drink them. And so I was like, all right, we'll just get rid of them. Because we had a bunch of beers in there. We were redoing a bunch of stuff. And in summer, we keep just kind of a gaggle of a different bunch of stuff. And she was like, it's the end of summer. Like, it's fall. Let's get serious again. And so let's get rid of all this stuff. And so I'm like, all right, I'll have a few of those tonight. So why not? So anyway, questions, comments, thoughts. And again, somebody just said we're getting healthy. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about tonight. So Game Check JJ, $625,000 roster bonus per game. That's why he's back. Who else is back? I kind of glossed over that quickly, so let's hit this again. So Jennings, as I told you, why he's back, 625,000 reasons why. Russell Gage, that's good. Dominic Pooney, that's really good. Gross Matos, I don't know how much he'll be able to play, but again, the depth of the defensive line and how young these guys are, to have Gross Matos back is really underrated. He can play inside, he can play outside. That's huge. Kalia Davis, who in the preseason looked pretty good at times. And so, again, I think that's big because having the injuries to Mikael Williams and to CJ West and missing those preseason games, absolutely huge. And so to have these guys, and, as I'm looking at the guys who are coming back, and we were talking so much about who missed, in the preseason, they had times where, even in the Denver joint practices and in the Raiders joint practices, they didn't have enough guys to practice. And you're sitting there going, oh my God, are they going to have injuries again this season? But obviously you'd rather have them in the preseason than any other time. And this is the NFL. You're going to get hurt. It's just a matter of when. But it's weird to say this, but obviously we knew about Ayuk. And it's too bad for Watkins. But all of a sudden these guys are coming back. The defensive line, that's valuable time for guys like Mikael Williams, CJ West to miss. But they're back. The offensive line, Dominic Pooney, to have him back for week 1 at Seattle, absolutely huge. And I know that people don't like McKivitz, but you know what? McKivitz is solid. And now you got Pooney next to him. Look, the center is the center. Let's just deal with it. Trent Williams is going to be healthy. And every single year going through training camp, people are like, oh, Trent's 37 and this, and they start buzzing about him. And then in week number 1, he just bulldozes the hell out of people. He's fine. Ben Barch has not because of injuries, but again, he's back. Hopefully he can be that guy at left guard. My point in all of this is there's been a bunch of guys who've been banged up in training camp. And all of a sudden here they come and they're back. The only concern I would have as far as the injuries are these young guys, Mikael Williams, CJ West, Upton Stout. Can these guys go to Seattle week number 1, eyes wide open, crowd going crazy, pumping noise in, 12th man stuff, biggest rivalry of the 49ers. There is no, Georgia Southern. There is no Louisiana Monroe. There is no practice game. This is it. And those guys didn't play in the preseason. Because of injuries, those guys didn't play in the preseason. So Upton Stout coming from Western Kentucky is going to be too big in week 1 when he's looking around. And I can guarantee you this, and I've told you this. It doesn't matter how well he played in practice, and it didn't matter how well he played in the joint practice, and it didn't matter, and I was getting giddy and excited every hurdle that Upton Stout, for example, would jump and say, this guy's got this job down. Okay, you're going to see Cooper Kupp in the slot, and you're going to see Smith and Jigba in the slot, who was the best slot receiver in football last year. And they're going to rotate those guys. And one guy's going to be out, and one guy's going to be in, and they're just going to test you. And you didn't get preseason games under your belt. So you're probably going to make a few mistakes. It's going to happen. And like I said, I think Seattle's offensive line is greatly improved, especially on the left side with Cross at left tackle and Gray Zabel, a North Dakota State guy who had a really good preseason. He's a guard. He's a rookie at left guard, looked really good. They're going to probably be left side dominant. And so, that's Mikael Williams' side. And they're going to run at Mikael Williams and say, can you set an edge? That's what they're going to do. In fact, I think the first play of the game, they're going to go right at Mikael Williams and go, okay, this is our left side. Let's see what you can do. So anyway, it's going to be fun, man. I'm already starting to get excited about it. So JJ is back. Lots of guys coming back from injuries. Going to be a lot of fun to watch that. Bourne is in town. I'm not under the impression that he's Jerry Rice or anything like that, but in terms of giving the 49ers depth, a veteran receiver, I'd be totally cool with that. I'd be really good with that. So there you go. First look at Seahawks. What did I have? Oh, you know what? I have some Mike McDonald for you. And here's what I meant by this. And I'm going to look at the Seahawks depth chart in a second. We're not going to go too deep on the Seahawks tonight because I got a Seahawks guest tomorrow night. And we'll go a little bit deep on that. Then it'll be Wednesday, and then we'll kind of go deep as the week goes on. But this is Mike McDonald. He's going to talk about their offense a little bit, and we'll talk about it. But again, Kubiak against Kubiak. So you got Clay Kubiak, who's the assistant OC to Kyle this year, and then you got Clint Kubiak, and they're running a Shanahan version of the offense They had this guy, Ryan Grubb, straight out of Washington, had a terrible offense last year. Geno Smith out. Tyler Lockett out. DK Metcalf out. Offensive line, look, the jury is still out. Abe Lucas, their right tackle, who when he was a rookie, they took Cross and Abe Lucas the same year. Lucas hurt his knee, and he was out half of last year, wasn't very good. He's back and healthy. They've got a new center, again, North Dakota State guy, Jalen Sundell. He was a free agent guy, really good in the preseason. Zabel they took in the first round, left guard, and Cross is coming around as a left tackle. So they're running basically a version of Kyle's offense, and it's looked good so far. Here's Mike McDonald, their head coach, who's really put together a really good defense, talking about now what their offense is going to look like this year. This is what the Niners are going to see on Sunday.
Well, it's interesting. I know I don't think that we see it as new. It's just us since April. It's like, or really since we hired Clint. So we've had just as much time to kind of get on the same page as everybody else. Everybody else has moving parts up to this point. You know, I understand that we have probably more than most, but yeah, I mean, we have no other option but to be really good. So that's what we're going to try to do. But I don't think we're really spending any time thinking, okay, we're new. How is this thing going to come together? It's like we've had all these months up to this point to come together as a football team and as an offense, and it's a long season too. You're going to have another 4 to 5 months of growing and evolving as the season starts to declare. So that's what we're counting on.
All right, so that's Mike McDonald. He's one of the better young coaches in the league. By the way, he's 38, and we have talked about Kyle for this whole time and guys like Sean McVay, and this is the youngest head coach in the division now. We're going to play some more stuff in the NFL Wire from the rest of the coaches in this division. I'll give you a little update when we kind of widen out the lens a little bit on the rest of the coaches in this division. But let me just give you a look at the Seahawks. 10-7 last year. McDonald's a really good head coach. He's really building a good defense, and what they want to do up there. Love of God, man. Really? Is this what I have to go through? I'm trying to get this up here. Hang on one just a sec. I'm trying to get the depth chart for the Seahawks, and this is what I got to go through. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can do this again. There we go. Okay, let me share this one more time because I had this stupid ad in the way. See if I can do this again. Let's try this one more time. Share screen. Get that ad out of the way. It's ridiculous. All right. Hold on a second. There's Seahawks depth chart. All right, there it is right there. All right, so when you see Seattle on Sunday, you know what Smith and Jigba can do. Let's see. Smith and Jigba was over 100 catches last year, really good in the slot. I think it's going to be interesting is Cooper Kupp's a slot too. So what they're going to do is they're going to kind of rotate those two guys in there. Torrey Horton, I told you about him. He's a Colorado State guy. Had injuries last year, but if you look at Deion Sanders' first year at Colorado, they were all going crazy. Their second year, they played Colorado State. They couldn't cover this guy. Really good player. And he actually, the reason why they have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, the 49ers, on their practice squad is because this guy beat him out. Cross and Zabel are pretty decent on the left side. It's Sundell who's the starter at center. Bradford was horrible last year, looked better in camp. Lucas is decent. BOURNE, Arroyo's the guy to watch. He's a second-round pick out of Miami. He's pretty good. Darnold, we all know him. Jury's out. Charbonnet and Walker are not a bad group as far as the 1-2 at running back. And Robbie Oots is a guy who was a tight end at Alabama. Big guy, like 275, and they just put him in at fullback, and he had a great preseason. So offensively, they're just going to try to run the football. I mean, they go back to like a Pete Carroll thing, try to run the football. Can they? Their offensive line has been terrible for a long time. So it's going to come down to, can they run the football to kind of take the pressure off Sam Darnold? That's the bottom line as far as their offense. Defensively, watch Murphy in the middle. Was a first-round pick a year ago. Leonard Williams is solid. Ernest Jones was the guy that you might remember him with the Rams. Nwosu getting healthy. Really in the defensive backfield. Love's been really good for them. Reek Woolen's in a free agent year, and Witherspoon's the star. Was a top 5 pick a couple of years ago. So their defense really holds them, and they want to run the football. That's what it comes down to for Seattle. So second year under Mike McDonald, probably going to be better. Look, 10-7 last year just comes down to their offensive line and how good is Sam Darnold going to be. So that's kind of what's going on as far as the Seahawks. Questions, comments, thoughts. We'll get more into it, like I said, when I get a Seahawk guy on tomorrow. If we got any Seahawks fans in the house, let me know. Let's see. What do we got on the 49ers and the Seahawks? Give me your early impressions as we'll get it more. What's going on, Kyle? It's good to see you, Big Brick. It's good to see you, my friend. Yeah, I think the Seahawks defense is going to be better. Their first year under McDonald, they were okay. They were a top 10 unit, but I do think they got a couple of guys there. I think that Woolen's good. I mean, he's got the size speed thing. I really like Witherspoon. Job, I think, is a guy you can go at. Jones is a nice linebacker. Murphy, I think, is going to be better in his second year. And they've got a couple of nice edge guys. I just think they're going to be better in the second year under McDonald. They get the first year. There's a lot of verbiage in their defense. And I think a second year under any coach, I think you're going to be better. But who knows? Yeah, it comes down to this. I mean, the Niners O-line against this defense, that's what it's going to be. It always is. It's boring to talk about, but it always comes down to trenches, right? That's always what it comes down to. Bottom line. Yeah, I'm not a Brundle guy. I'm just not a Brundle guy. And they're going to attack right through the middle. Like when they had Bobby Wagner there, I mean, it's a different regime, but that's what they're going to do. They're going to attack right through the middle. I'm nervous about left guard because even if they can be decent there, and Banks wasn't great last year, but even if they can be decent there, the center and the left guard make me a little bit nervous as far as the Niners go, and just right in the middle. Not only just pass protection, and Brock's not the tallest guy. And I think Brock's going to have a good year, but just right through the middle like that. And Seattle likes to attack there. And like I said, McDonald will just attack your weakest link. That's what he does. So we'll see. Look, the Niners are a 2-point favorite in this whole thing. It's not like they're going to blow them out. It's a tough place to play. It's loud. I think they're going to have a good defense. It just comes down to young defensive line for the 49ers. I think it's an improved offensive line for Seattle. They looked really good in the preseason. Again, it's preseason. Who knows? But they've kind of made a concerted effort, the Seahawks, to have a better offensive line. I mean, they take a left guard 18th overall. They know that their offensive line is terrible. There's no doubt. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt they'll miss DK. I mean, no matter what anybody thought of DK, and remember, in the second round, what year was that? 19. The Niners took Debo and the Seahawks took DK. And it wasn't because DK wasn't a freak. It was just he had hurt his neck. He was inconsistent, and he's a freak. And the Niners could get to him. Remember when Fred Warner went after him and everything, and he mentally at times was weak. But then again, in a playoff game, he got a 50-yard touchdown. I mean, he was really tough to cover. I won't miss DK. The Seahawks will. I mean, he was a pain in the ass. And another guy was a pain in the ass that always seemed to make big plays against the Seahawks, scramble around, and there's Tyler Lockett, like wide open. I mean, last year, Lockett, DK, and Smith and Jigba, that was a tough wide receiver core. And Cooper Kupp's a nice name. And as far as the Rams are concerned, he had good years, but he was injured a lot. I mean, we'll see what Torrey Horton brings to the table. But just on paper, Horton, Smith and Jigba, and Kupp are not better than DK Metcalf, Lockett, and Smith and Jigba. They're not. Now, maybe they could be. And this Arroyo kid, he wears 18 for Seattle. They took him in the second round out of Miami. He's going to be a pain in the ass. They're going to have to watch where he is. And those are the safeties, both safeties for the Niners, at least the starters who should be the starters if it's Pinnock and Siegel. They're much more, box guys than they are cover guys. So that could be a major problem too. 18 Arroyo out of Miami, he could be a problem. There's no doubt. All right, give me your thoughts on that, and we'll look at Ricky in just a second. That's where we are on episode 230. So Game Check JJ, 625,000 reasons why he's back in camp. He's got a 625,000 per game roster bonus. That's why he's back in camp. Make no mistake about it. Who's back? They got a lot of guys back. That's the good news for the 49ers. Lots of guys who are banged up in camp who are back in camp. Mr. Bourne is in town, so we'll see if he signs and if he could be a factor against the Seahawks that quickly. First look at the Seahawks. We'll have a Seahawks guest on tomorrow night on the show. We'll do Ricky in just a second, but let's hit up on some supers. And do remember, if you want your questions, comments, or thoughts 100% on the show, hit us up with a super. Tangy is up first. Money. The answers to all your questions is money. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, it's just funny because all these people today were acting like they were surprised. Like, oh my God, they must have come to some sort of conclusion. Yeah, the conclusion is Jauan Jennings hadn't lost any money yet. And if he didn't show up at camp today, he was going to start losing money. He doesn't want to lose money. Fuji, I got to get with Larry. I don't know if now that Niners season has started, I don't know if Krug's going to do any more of the bottom of the pints. I will get with him. So let me, I have bottom of the pint merch. Fuji, if you hit me up, John at johnlundradio.com, John at johnlundradio.com, Fuji, and you give me an email address, I will hit you up and I will get you merch. I promise you. I will get you merch. Because I owe you big time. Martin asks, hey, John, do you know what the status of Jacob Robinson is? I know he works for him, but is he still under team control? Let me check on that. They like him. I don't think they did an injury settlement with him. They did with a few other players like Brown, for example. They did, the former Seahawk. I think with Robinson, they want to keep him. I don't think they reached an injury settlement with him. I think they're just going to IR him and keep him because they like him. But let me double check that for you. Martin, let me double check that for you. I'm pretty sure I'm accurate on that, but let me double check. I don't believe they're letting him go because, yeah, like you said, he's got a broken forearm, but they are not waiving him with an injury designation. They're going to keep him. And if I can't find that, I will hit you up later on that. Because I know they like him. Let's see. Let me see what they did with him. If I don't have it here, I'll get it for you. Plus, he went to Utah State, which that's my alma mater. So I did follow him a little bit. He only played 1 year then he went to the dreaded BYU. I'll get that for you, and I'll post it. I'll get that for you 100%, and then I'll post it. Okay. Any more questions, comments, thoughts? I will make sure, by the way, I'll follow up on that for you. I promise you, Martin. I promise you I'll follow you up on that one. I owe you one. And one more. I just wouldn't have moved him. I mean, when you have, as far as Parsons is concerned, and I talked about this on the day of the trade, you just don't trade players like that. And stay with me on this. Here's what I don't understand about trading. First of all, when you get a player of that caliber, okay, he's a Hall of Fame type of player when you're talking about Parsons. Okay, let's do a little math. You get 2 first-round picks. You used a first-round pick on him. He's only 26 years old, so you're netting 1. That makes sense? You used a first-round pick on Parsons. You get 2 back. You net 1, okay? With that first-round pick, because Green Bay is going to be so good, and if I'm the Niners or the Eagles or anybody else in the NFC, I'm pissed because you may have given the Super Bowl to the Packers. But so you're the Cowboys. You used 1 on them. You got 2 back. You net 1. Where that pick is going to be is at the end of the first round. So you're going to get a first-round pick near the end of the round. First-round picks anyway are 50-50 propositions, okay? So you have a 50% chance. And as you go in the round, just like as you go in the draft, your percentages go less to get a player who's productive, let alone a Pro Bowl or then Hall of Fame caliber player. And you got one in Micah Parsons. You do not give them away. Secondarily, you had 3 players to sign if you were the Cowboys. And I know the Cowboys are hated, but let's just use logic. Let's say this is the 49ers. You have 3 players to sign a year ago. CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons. By position, you've got to sign Dak Prescott, unfortunately. And if everybody screams and yells and they go, oh, he's terrible. Well, what's your alternative at quarterback? You're forced into a corner. Okay, so you got to sign the quarterback. I get it. But you had the 3 players, and Micah Parsons, just based on talent alone, is the best of the 3. So you got to sign him. But if you look at value of the position, again, this is where the 49ers are pissed, and it's why they won't give Jauan Jennings the money. By value of position, it goes quarterback, edge rusher, wide receiver of those 3 players that they had to sign. By talent, it goes Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, and CeeDee Lamb. But by position, I get it. It goes quarterback, but then it goes edge rusher. You've got to go by the value of the position and how good the player is. If you combine those two things, the best player was Micah Parsons, and that's the player that you did not sign. It drives me crazy. You've got to sign that guy. And then by Jerry Jones saying that he didn't think that that player was worth that kind of money, that's the cost of doing business. And by the way, the day before the valuations of the teams came out, you had the number one valuation in football at $12 billion. Don't tell me you can't afford the guy. You have a valuation of $12 billion. Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys for $140 million in 1989. Don't tell me you can't afford the player, because you can. So don't give me that. So that's the going rate for the player. You can sign the player. You didn't sign the player. You didn't sign the best player of the three players that you had. And you're not better without him. And then Jerry Jones comes out in a press conference and talks 11 minutes on one question about how they're better without the player. You're not. Because when you draft, and I've seen your drafts, you're not drafting those players. Then he turns around to almost tell his fans, look, they signed Deron Bland and all these, like a day after. They went out and they signed Deron Bland and they signed all these guys. You just spent the money, and he wants to say, look, we got the quantity of player. No, you want the quality of player. And they're going to turn around and blow those picks. And we all know this because we talk about it all the time. If you do it, if you make a trade 90% of the time, if you get the best player in the trade, you win the trade. Lots of times there's situations where if you get the quantity of picks, you can win that trade. He mentioned the Herschel Walker trade. It happens sometimes. But Micah Parsons is the best player in that trade by far. It's just a horrendous trade. You know, could you get 3 or 4 first-round picks? Yeah, but what it reminds me of, and right when it happened, I thought about it. It just reminded me of the Charles Haley trade. It just reminded me of the Charles Haley trade. When you have that talented of a player, you just don't trade him. And look, the Cowboys really aren't close to winning a championship, so I understand it to that extent. The last point I'll make on this is that then you trade him to the AFC. So you don't have to see them. I know that the Cowboys aren't in contention right now, but you go to the AFC and you shop them there. Could you have gotten 2 first-round picks from the AFC? You could have. And you probably could have got them in a better place because, again, the Green Bay is going to have those picks are going to be near the end of the round. And if they're going to be near the end of the round anyway, then trade them to Buffalo. You know, trade them somewhere else. At least trade, like could Miami have come up with those 2 picks and maybe those are the middle of the round or something? Just dumb. Just dumb. But that's just Jerry Jones. Like I said, I worked in Dallas. He'd rather have him talking about him because what's going to happen is we're all going to talk about Micah Parsons all day Thursday instead of talking about the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. That'll be spun in, but it's all going to be about Jerry Jones traded Micah Parsons to Green Bay. And that's really what Jerry Jones, that's currency to Jerry Jones, is rather than talking about the Eagles and their Super Bowl, 3/4 of that pregame show is going to be Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons. And he likes it that way. And he doesn't care. He doesn't care if it's that the Cowboys are going to stink or anything like that. His currency is you're talking about me, which makes the value of my team go up, and that's how he keeps score. It's silly. It's demented. They haven't won titles forever, but that's Jerry. He's crazy. I'm just telling you, man. It's crazy the way he keeps score. Yeah. What's the update? 27-7. I mean, that's a major, major, major letdown. I mean, Michael Jordan's in the house. Lawrence Taylor's in the house. Mia Hamm's in the house. Who else was there? I mean, it's anybody who's anybody. Anybody who's anybody is in the house. And they got up 7-0. And then last I saw, TCU just came at them. It was 27-7 last time I saw. So anyway, all right, there's the latest on that. All right, the last piece of Niners stuff, and then we'll do NFL Wire. It's been a year and a day since Ricky Pearsall was shot. I mean, there you go right there. August 31st, 2024 at approximately 3:37 p.m., San Francisco officers responded to the area of Geary Street, been there a million times, in Grant, on a report of a shooting. Upon arrival, you can see right there, and 2 officers suffering from injuries, blah, 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 blah. And it's kind of one of those things where were you when? Like, it was surreal, wasn't it? Like, I've been exactly where Ricky was, and I'm sure you have too. And he was shopping, and if you remember the whole Pell setup, it was just like it is right now. It was the week of the opener. And Ricky was shopping for some luggage because they were going on a road trip, and the guy wanted his watch. Ricky was wearing a diamond watch, and the guy wanted the watch. Ricky said, "I'm not giving you the watch." Kind of a wrestling. They started wrestling. Ricky got shot. And I just remember hearing about it thinking, what? What? And just, is he going to be okay? And then we saw the video and the officer, and I remember she talked him through the whole thing. And Ricky said, "Am I going to be okay?" And I mean, it was just the weirdest thing. And remember, he had missed camp because he had an ankle injury. And I mean, I just remember that afternoon thinking, the first round pick of the 49ers, Ricky Pearsall, has been shot. And I remember just days before, we had been at training camp. I had just talked to the guy 3 or 4 days before, face to face. It was just one of the most surreal feelings I could ever remember, thinking a kid on the 49ers just got shot in San Francisco. And it was like, I wasn't thinking football. I was thinking, is the kid going to survive? Is the kid going to live? And then weeks after that, with just a weird season, just the whole thing was weird. And then Ricky came back later that year. And then to think that a year and a day where we are today, September 1st, 2025, and to think where I think this kid is going to be. I think he's going to be their number one receiver. I think he's going to catch 80 or 85 balls. I think he's going to be an 1,100-yard receiver. I don't know how many touchdowns he's going to catch, 5, 6, 7, 8 touchdowns. I've seen him in camp quite a bit. He's a great route runner. He's a great kid. He's a hard worker. To think that for 366 days ago, I thought, is this kid going to live? It's surreal. This can't be happening. This can't be real, to a kid who I think is going to be the breakout player on the 49ers. And because Jauan Jennings has missed most of camp, I think he's going to be the number one receiver. He worked with Brock Purdy this offseason and has a great rapport with Brock Purdy. And I think he's going to, catch 8 balls in Seattle. And if they win the game, I think he's going to be a big reason why. I mean, it's just 366 days ago, Ricky Pearsall was shot in San Francisco. How wild is that still to this day? Isn't that wild? Give me your thoughts. I'd love to know just your thoughts on where you were, what you were thinking. I mean, just when the news came down, like, what's going on here, man? I remember talking to Dante Whitner, and Dante that day, because if you remember, he was at a card show on the peninsula, and then he went up to San Francisco. And I remember talking to Dante the very next day. He was on our show, and Dante had said, yeah, I actually was with him that day. And Dante had actually warned him. He had the watch on that day and was wearing a short sleeve shirt. And Dante actually had told him that day, hey man, you got a pretty big piece of bling on there, man. Kind of be careful with that on. Like, you might run into people, because he had told him, hey, I'm going up to San Francisco. I'm getting a piece of luggage today. And Dante actually told him, like, hey man, kind of watch yourself with that, and kind of warned him. And then what happened, it happened. So anyway, just kind of crazy that, and Nick Wagner wrote a piece today. I advise you to check it out on ESPN.com. And Nick is a heck of a writer, and wrote a piece on it. But a year and a day ago, Ricky Pearsall got shot up in San Francisco. And here he is getting ready a year later to be the number one wide receiver for the 49ers. The kid has worked his butt off, kind of had a bit of a setback at the beginning of camp, but, didn't have that ankle injury, gets shot, works his butt off all this offseason, works with Brock Purdy. I think the guy's going to have a heck of a season. So we'll see what Ricky Pearsall does, but just weird. August 31st, 2024, Ricky Pearsall gets shot in San Francisco. So 366 days later, here we are, and he's getting ready to get ready for the Seahawks. Hi, Nutter. It's good to see you, man. I hope Pearsall has a big year. The stage is set for him to do well. The only thing I know about the kid, just having him watch, and I told this story when he was coming back this year, and he had the early, was it a hammy or ankle or whatever it was? I think it was maybe a hammy. And I was walking, like I said, to one of the other fields, and he zoomed by me, and he made this cut, and the ball was kind of behind him, and he kind of turned his body and caught the ball with one hand. And I was like, this dude's a freak. I mean, this dude's a freak. And then just every day in practice, just better and better and better and better. And the only thing that I think is going to hold him back. And the only reason we even talk about it is because last year in camp, he had, an issue, and then he got shot, no fault of his own. And then this year, we'd heard great things about him working out with Brock, and then he had a setback, and we're like, damn, is this guy like, is this an injury prone thing? What's going on? But every single time that I've seen the guy on the field, he's a smooth runner. He's a smooth route runner. He makes his cuts without slowing down. He's got tremendous hands. He's fearless. He's all those things that you want out of a wide receiver. So there's no doubt in my mind. And I guess you have to say this small caveat, because very early in his career, unfortunately, through no fault of his own, hamstring, ankle, get shot, you kind of bring that up about him. But when he's on the field, everything I've seen from him, there is no doubt in my mind that he's got everything great. He's got sticky hands, great speed, body control. Just everything. Every time I've seen him play, whether it be during a game, during a practice, 11 on 11, training camp, you're like, dude's got everything. It's just a matter of we've all kind of got this thing in the back of our mind. Can he stay healthy? That's really it, right? So let's see. I remember, let's see. Let's see. Oh my God. Yeah, it was unbelievable. Because the details were so sketchy at first, I didn't know if he was alive or dead. It was like, what? Like, we were just kind of getting sketchy details, and it was like, what the what? Yeah, you're right. You're right. Blake Snell's in the game too, right? That's right. Somebody flipped it there. Blake Snell's in the game at the Carolina game. Yeah, I was the same thing. 100% high 420. Yeah, same thing. I was like, when I first heard it, I was like, what? And it was like, and then you start to get the details. And then remember, you got that sketchy video where he was walking. We're like, wait a minute, he got shot and he's walking to an ambulance. And then they had and then they talked to the police officer, and she was like, you're going to be okay. And she talked him off it. She was amazing. We had her on our show. She was unbelievable. And she was like, oh, it's okay. And, man, crazy. And she was like, you're going to be okay. And then finally he was like, am I going to live? Like, he was real tough about it. And then all of a sudden it was like, yeah. Am I going to live? Like, it was like, wow, it was crazy. Yeah. Think about that, Eric. He came back late in the year, had a couple of really nice games, but it was like, when did he come back? Like 7th, 8th game or something? It was like, guy shot. And he was in, I remember what John Lynch said this. John Lynch was on our show late, like right after all that happened. And one of the first things Ricky said was like, I think Ricky said he said he was sorry. And John Lynch was like, dude, you don't have to be sorry. And then like the second thing Ricky Pearsall said to John Lynch was like, so when can I play? And they're like, dude, slow down. It's okay. Like, let's just see. Let's just kind of see. Okay. We'll see when you can play, dude. But yeah, he's just kind of that kind of guy, man. So anyway, 366 days ago, just crazy. So anyway, that's what's going on as far as the 49ers. Episode 230, Game Check JJ is back. $625,000 roster bonus for JJ. That's why he's back. $625,000 every game he plays. Who's back? Good news for injuries going into the Seattle game. Kendrick Bourne is in town. We shall see. First look at the Seahawks. Like I told you, we'll get more into that as the week progresses, so stay with me. We'll have a Seahawk guest on tomorrow night. First look at the Seahawks. Ricky, it's been a year and a day, and now let's widen out the lens, and we'll do NFC West, and we'll do this every single week. We'll get into a lot of NFC West as this thing gets going. So let's hit a little NFL Wire tonight.
It's time for a look at the NFL stories making headlines. It's the NFL Wire on John Lund Unleashed.
All right, it's my favorite guy and yours. Here's a little bit of Sean McVay, and he's talking about his new receivers. Remember, they pick up old number 17, and I do mean old. And they got Puka Nacua, so maybe best receivers in the division, the Rams. Here's Sean McVay talking about him.
I think he's gotten better each of the last couple years. He had a great rookie year. Obviously, he didn't play as many games last year, but he played more efficient football. He took a step in the right direction. I think he's in the midst of being able to do that going into year 3. And I don't always think that's reflected in the stats. You know, you'd say as a rookie he had better stats, but he played better as a sophomore. And I think that was, reflected in just some of the, the efficiency metrics that we look at. I'm not sure some of the stuff that's out there, but I thought he played really good, clean football in both phases. Devontae's a special player. His resume speaks for itself. He's not limited in any way that you can use him. And so, very excited about adding him. And then really the other 4 receivers that we have.
Yeah, whatever. I don't want to about your other 4 receivers. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, the big key for them this year. And we'll see, man, because I've been kind of saying, okay, let's see. We haven't seen Matthew Stafford in the preseason, limited in practice. If not, our friend Jimmy Garoppolo would be the starter, and Devontae Adams, that would be hilarious because if you watched receiver last year, of course, Devontae Adams wanted out of Vegas because he thought Jimmy was going to kill him. So we'll see. Matthew Stafford with that back. If you ever had a back injury, that could be an issue. They got the Texans in week 1. That's not going to be easy. They've got the Texans and our friend D'Amico Ryans. So maybe D'Amico Ryans can do us a favor and beat the Rams in week 1. And then the Cardinals, they go to New Orleans. That's the Niners' opponent in week number 2. So maybe that weird situation that they're going to start Spencer Rattler in week number 1, but they really have an unsettled situation due to the Saints at the quarterback position. I really like Jonathan Gannon. Of course, he was the former Philadelphia defensive coordinator. He's asked about how stoked he is for week number 1.
I mean, you just gotta do your job at a high level. Block out all the external factors, block out all the noise, and do your job the best you can do it. And I told the players that too. It's for everybody in that building: staff, coaches, players. It's all everyone's doing the same thing today. How can we do it a little bit better?
I think that's the one thing is he's a defensive coordinator, but I think their defense is a year away. Walter Nolan, who was a guy that I liked for the 49ers in the first round, he was injured all through camp, but Walter, their first round pick, really, I think is going to break out. Harrison Jr. is going to break out. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to break out. He looks a lot bigger. Kyler Murray's Kyler Murray. They still got James Conner. I think that their offense is going to be good this year. Their defense, I think Gannon still doesn't quite have the players that he needs on defense, but I think their offense will be fine. I think Arizona's going to be Arizona. I think it's going to be a fight between the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Niners. I think health is going to play a big part in that. Week 1, obviously, we'll see if I think what the Seahawks, I think, might be defensively, but I think it's going to be a dogfight between 3 teams. Arizona, I think, is just a step below for right now, so that's what I think is going on. But I do like Gannon. I can't say the same for McVay, but there you go. You've seen from all 3 coaches as far. By the way, I forgot to play this as proof. That is Jauan Jennings today. 625,000 reasons, and there's Ricky Pearsall right there. So I forgot to give you that. And then there's Trent Williams. By the way, Trent Williams easily is my favorite interview of any 49er. Biggest dude, never wears sleeves, nicest guy you could ever meet in your life. Here's Trent on what Jauan means coming back to the team.
Try to not worry about it, let them 2 parties work it out. Obviously, Jauan is a hell of a player, one of our best players on the team, so having him out there is really important. But, the business, there's a business side to it, so you let it work out.
That's the first time I've ever seen Trent Williams wear sleeves at the facility. He never wears sleeves. So I don't know. It wasn't cold down there today, so I don't know what he was doing anyway. But there you go. That's what most guys say. It's like, look, man, he's got to work out his own thing. But Trent Williams is back. They look good. There's you saw from all 3 coaches today. So Mike McDonald in Seattle, McVay with the Rams, Gannon with Arizona. Probably if I had to say the other 3 coaches, McDonald's young, 38. McVay used to be young, obnoxious. Gannon, I would love it if he was my defensive coordinator, but I can't get over that one thing. Remember before the NFC Championship game when Brock got hurt and some guys, Philly fans, were yelling at Gannon, and he's like, I got something for him today. And then, of course, Brock got hurt and everything, so he had to hate that guy. So anyway, there's those guys. So NFC West check-ins, Rams versus Texans, that's who they got. We'll do on Friday a whole thing and maybe some betting ideas on everything, but that's not going to be an easy game for the Rams, the Texans, and D'Amico Ryans in week number 1. Cardinals versus Saints, they should probably get off to 1-0 start, but again, that's going all the way across country. That they go across the country to New Orleans in that week number 1. And then I've talked about the Belichick debut. They were down 27-7 last time that I checked on that, and like I said, Jordan was there, Lawrence Taylor was there, Mia Hamm was there, and a bunch of other people. I don't even know who went, if they even went to Carolina, but that's got to be embarrassing. It's kind of like when Deion debuted at Colorado. He got the first couple wins, and then they just started getting routed. But, the thing is that they had somebody on the field. I can't remember which NFL guy they had on, but ESPN had like a guy on the field beforehand, an NFL scout. And they said that North Carolina had 2 corners who were probably NFL worthy corners. And then outside of that, they didn't really have any NFL talent. And so it doesn't really surprise you because it's not like TCU's a bad football team year in and year out. They're good. I don't know what kind of talent TCU had returning, but obviously they were routing them early. So I don't know if Belichick came back with it, but it's not like young guys. He's 72 years old. You're in the, it's the portal era. Like, what are you paying me? It's, a lot of kids are going like, hey, great. You're Bill Belichick. You used to lead the Patriots to tons of Super Bowls. I got my hand out, man. What are you paying me? Like, a lot of parents would be like, hey, you can get a chance to play for Bill Belichick. Great, man. What's he paying me? If Belichick's not really, if they don't have a, $30, $40 million, fund to pay a bunch of guys, then you're not going to get anybody. I mean, the offseason, you don't spend the most money in the portal this offseason. I bet you couldn't guess if you didn't know off the top of your head. Texas Tech. Texas Tech has a couple of big-ass donors that just put a bunch of money in a bunch. So I don't know what Texas Tech is going to do but Texas Tech led everybody in spending money. I think they spent like $30 million on their team. And so, I don't know if they're going to be any good, but they spent a bunch of money. So I don't know what Belichick spent, but if he didn't spend a bunch of money, because I saw him with Mike Lombardi before the game, not David Lombardi, Mike Lombardi, the former, exec with the Raiders and the Patriots and all this stuff. And if they didn't spend a bunch of money, Belichick's going to have a long year in Chapel Hill, man. I don't know if Jordan put money into that program or whatever. And I don't know what the score of that game is right now, but it didn't look good when I jumped on the air here. One other note before I get to the Sweet Clean Family Friendly Caboose Pistol. Very nice. The Giants win again, finally to 500. Look at the Rockies. Oh my God. 39-99, 69-69. Nice for the Giants. 8-2 over the Rockies. I haven't talked about the Giants in a long time because I told you until they got back to 500, I wasn't going to mention them. They're still not going to the playoffs, but 69-69. Well done, boys. And last time I think I spoke about them, were people talking about the Devers trade being bad? I mean, what are you talking about? He's going to hit like 35, knocking over 100. Our guy, Willie Adames, is going to hit, I think he's going to be the first Giant to hit 30 in a long time because Devers kind of doesn't count because he was with Boston. But it looks like he's going to knock 30 over the fence. So not too bad. They just got to get things. They got to get Bryce Eldridge up here. Got to get some pitching back. Even Verlander's thrown a couple of nice games. So way to go, boys. 69-69, 500. 8-2 win today. Very nice. Still think Bob Melvin's probably got to go. But anyway, they get to 69-69. Any other football-related things that I got to get to tonight? Anyway, it is officially game week in the NFL. So before we do the caboose, I just want to let you know that Seahawks guest tomorrow night. We'll get the NFL wire totally wired tomorrow. We'll get a bunch of good stuff as we get you ready for game week, and we'll get a bunch of sound tomorrow. We'll get deeper into the Seahawks and the 49ers. We'll get you deep into that one tomorrow as well. Any other questions, comments, or thoughts in the NFL before we hit you with a sweet, clean, family-friendly caboose pistol? Yeah, 69-69. How about that, man? We had to acknowledge that tonight. So let's see here. No, bottom of the pint. Bryce isn't coming. I know. See, I think that's ridiculous. I mean, can the guy rip the ball off the cover any more than he's doing? I mean, for no other reason of just like clearly the guy deserves a promotion. I mean, come on, man. Kid is crushing it. Like, for the very reason I had said this earlier this year, it's like when a kid deserves a promotion, just give it to him. And then into the offseason, be like, okay, I saw Major League pitching. I know what I need to work on. Just bring him up. Jeez. I mean, what else can the kid do? My God. Jesus, crushing the ball every time. Even Luciano, come on, man. What does the guy got to do? I mean, I get it. He doesn't have a position, but for the love of God, man, bring him up. Jeez, killing it, man. What else do we got? Anything else? Because I got a good, sweet, clean, family friendly caboose pistol for you. Because if this guy, I'll tell you this right now. If this guy can get in the Guinness book, so can I. And you can all be a part of this. I'll tell you this right now. No, I call things as I see it, man. I'm not gonna if I think a team is good, I just think they're gonna be a good defense, and I think it's gonna be a tough game to win. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let's do this. Let's do a sweet, clean family friendly caboose pencil, shall we? Let's do it. Let's do it. Where's my music? Hold on a minute. There we go. Let's do it.
John Lund Unleashed presents the caboose pistol.
Wedged in the crack of her buttocks.
Somehow, someway, Lundo thinks this is the best way to leave a final impression on you for the day.
The old caboose pistol, everybody has one.
Did you say caboose?
I know some women who could hide a machine gun in there.
Yeah.
Leave me out of this, you weirdo. Here's John.
All right, so let me show you this story first, and then I'll show you this video. So I don't know how this guy... Maybe I shut this down. Let's see. Maybe I don't have the story. I'll just show you the video. So here's this guy.
One Nick.
Hey, shut up.
Tricky part.
Hold on a minute, dude. Okay, so this guy that you see on the screen there, he's in the Guinness Book of World Records, and I didn't know you could do this. I guess you could just do it for anything. But they throw these mini sponges at his face, and he did 98 in a minute. And so before I saw this, I thought to myself, well, this is going to be really impressive, right? They're going to be coming right at his face really fast. And they're not really coming at his face that fast. 98 in a minute, I guess, is kind of impressive. But I really think I could do this. So you tell me if I'm wrong here. I bet I could get somebody to throw these a lot faster at my face, right? So it's kind of slow. And I think I could get into the Guinness Book of World Records. So watch this and tell me if you think I could do this faster than this guy, because I really think I could. Okay, ready? Watch.
Part about this one is you got to throw a lot of sponges. The previous record was like 70 something. We got 92 the first time. Someone broke it with 93, so we had to take it back. Jonathan is ambidextrous, so he can throw with both hands at alarming speed. Hardest part for me is actually moving just the slight amount I need to make sure it hits my face straight on. To do that, I have to have my eyes open. But since I've got less than a half a second after the water washes out of my eyes to reopen my eyes to get in position so I can close my eyes so I can hit my face, man, it is tough to open and close my eyes that fast and not get my eye hit with the scratchy part of those sponges.
Put one in between two people's feet. 3, 2, 1, go.
Their bucket's ready.
30.
Okay, back to the first bucket, Jennifer.
Okay, so you get the idea. I think I mean the guy's not throwing him that hard at the guy's face. Like that's Jauan Jennings. The guy's not throwing him that hard at the guy's face. I'd be like chucking him super fast. And I'd have a bunch of guys throwing him. Like, you know what I mean? I'd have like guys like boom, 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 boom. Like I don't know what the rules are, but I'd have like 5 different guys back there just chucking them on my face, and the guy's like, you know, and I don't want the heart. Like, I don't care what you hit him at, and I'd have goggles on my face. Can I have goggles on my face? And I'd want like just boom, 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 boom. Like I'd just be having them one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. Like I'd have like 300 of it. I like 98. He did 98 in a minute. I'd have like 300. Easy, and I'd just be like fastballs, like throw them fast, and I'd have like 3 kids picking them up, and we'd have bucket after bucket, like much more efficient than that. Because I thought, you know, when he was talking it up, I thought like they were throwing him hard. He's like they're because he said the guy was throwing him hard, and he was kind of like lobbing him at the guy's face, and they were. I don't know. I think that you could have it much more efficient. Like I'd blow that guy out of the water. Because he said somebody had like 70 something, and then somebody had 92. He had 92, then somebody had 93. I'm like, dude, I'd have like in a minute, I'd have like 300. And I don't care if like the hard part was hitting my face, like whatever. Like I was like lobbing him at the guy's face. I'd have like 300. Easy. Easy. Like, what do you think? I don't know. I was watching. I was like, wasn't that impressive? I thought, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I think. I think it was slow and inefficient. I'd be like fastballs, throw fastballs right at him. You know, water cannons. I don't care. Just boom, 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 boom. Just load up water cannons. Just shoot those suckers. Let's go. Like, just I don't care if the hard parts hit me, and I would put like swim goggles on. So I just don't want them to hit me in the eye. Like, it's all fun and games till somebody gets an eye knocked out, you know, right? But I'm just thinking like just super efficient. Like, you know, like paintballs or something. Just shoot them right at me. Just one after the other. Boom, 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 boom. Just nail them. Like I'm thinking like I could do like 300 of those, man. Yeah, and the guy, yeah, and he's moving his head all around. That's what I'm thinking. Like, no, you don't got to catch him. You don't got to catch him with your face. Just have the guy line up, man, and just boom, 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 boom. Just shoot him right at your face. Just get your face lined up and just take him off the face one after the other, man. What are you doing moving your face around? Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But, man, I don't know. Just saw that today, and I was like, I'm thinking I could get like 300 of those things in a minute, not move my face at all, and just even if you had to throw them, maybe there's rules. You know, I don't know what the rules in the you know, the sponge off the face Guinness Book of World Record thing, but I'm just like, I get 300 of those easy. Get like 3 or 4 of my friends with like paintball guns, but put sponges in them. Good night. I don't know, maybe because I'd like to be in the Guinness Book of World Records now. I think that's crazy, but maybe I'm wrong, man. Maybe I don't know what the rules are. I got to look that up. But I saw that and I'm like, because he was talking about it, like his friend was like, he's ambidextrous and he could throw really fast. And I'm like, nah, I don't think he was throwing really fast. I think he was throwing really slow. That's solid. Do you really want that record? That's a good call. Yeah. And then, I mean, what's impressive about it? You know, like, look, I'm in the Guinness Book of World Records and everybody look at you like, so, you know, not like you're getting anything out of that. Women aren't impressed. Don't act like you're not impressed. That's a good point by you. Probably not all that impressive, actually. Still, though, you could be, let's put it this way. Even if it wasn't me, I don't think that was that efficient. That's all, I guess. Maybe I wouldn't do it. But it wasn't that efficient. It wasn't as impressive as it, because he was talking it up like really efficient. My friend's ambidextrous. What was that? Pat Venditti, the guy who used to be on the A's and he could throw right and left-handed. I don't think so. I don't think it was that efficient. Wasn't that impressed. All right, what else do we have today? I shouldn't have got all excited about that. Oh, that's not a bad call right there, Badger. Salo will be Arizona's head coach next season. Oof, that's not that bad. That's not a bad call right there. I could see him going to the desert. I do like Gannon, though. But a lot of times what an owner will do, although they got bad ownership, you know, they'll go like OCDC kind of a thing. Not ACDC, but like, okay, we just had a DC. We're going to go to an AC or an offensive coordinator now, you know. But Salah's a leader of men. We've talked about that all the time. You know, I love Salah. And he's different this year, by the way. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Like, he's philosophical when he talks now, and he'll look right at you and use your name. And that experience with the Jets, he's even a better leader of men now. I don't know if you can tell, but he definitely is. Arizona, you're going to Arizona sleeper team, huh? Yeah, by the way, we've got to do that on, don't let me forget, on Friday. Let's make sure on Friday that do this for me. One homework assignment. It'll be the only one that we have. Somebody just said 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. Could you imagine if we did that? Papa, all 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. That's probably what the paint guns would do. And I told you that story. I lost a bet one time and had to run in a Speedo, and listeners were on either side of me, and they were shooting me with paint gun and paintballs, and I didn't think that was going to hurt. Oh, man, I had welts. Oh, man, that was not good. But anyway, and I did. I had goggles because I didn't want to get hit in the eyes, but I was like, I got nailed. And that was a lot more painful than I thought it was going to be. But I digress. On Friday, as part of Friday's show, let's make sure that we do sleepers, and let's do once and for all, because I'll remember. Let's do once and for all win total for Niners. Let's do this on Friday. Win total for Niners on Friday. Sleeper team. What else can we do on Friday? Super Bowl matchup? Want to do a Super Bowl matchup on Friday? What else can we do on Friday? What else? We can do like Niners MVP, stuff like that. What do you think? What should we do on Friday? Hit me up underneath here, and hit me up on X at John Lund Radio. What should we? Let's limit it to like 5 things on Friday, and then it's speak now, forever hold your peace. Like Niners wins, how far they'll go, sleeper team, not Niners, go off the board on sleeper team, not the Niners, that kind of a thing. We'll do like season predictions on Friday. Okay, let's do that. All right. So for tomorrow's show, we'll have a Seahawks guest tomorrow. We'll start getting deep into the Seahawks. We'll expand out on the NFL Wire tomorrow. We'll start getting into the schedule itself, start looking at some of the key games tomorrow. We'll have some more stuff on the Niners. We'll get some more stuff that'll break. We'll find out more on Kendrick Bourne, if that's going to be a thing tomorrow. Hopefully we'll find out a little bit more on Jauan Jennings. I don't think anything's going to change on Jauan Jennings because, as I told you, he has a $625,000 per game roster bonus. And I told you this weeks ago, he was going to play in that game because he did not want to lose $625,000 per game. And if you joined us late, there it is right there. So look at 2025, look at per game roster bonus, $625,000. If he doesn't play, he doesn't get it. And all of a sudden, everybody today was like, oh my God, he showed up. It's like, yeah, he doesn't want to lose $625,000. So he's going to play. And then this would probably be his last year with the 49ers, unless he gets hurt or something. But probably his last year with the 49ers because he wants to get that $625,000 every Sunday. That would be nice. All right. If you have any suggestions on what we should talk about on Friday, let us know, and other things. So we'll do like win totals, Niners MVP, how far the Niners will go, sleeper team, other stuff like that. You let me know what else we should throw in there, and we'll hit that up on Friday. Good to be talking to you on a Monday. We'll have more stuff. We'll have a Seahawks guest. You can boo and hiss at them. And I think that's it. Great sponge guy for the Caboose, NFL Wire. We heard from all the NFC West coaches. We'll do that every Monday. And I think that is it, unless there's questions, comments, or thoughts. Leave anything underneath the show right here, or hit me up on X at John Lund Radio. I think that's it for the night. Did we get all the supers? Thanks for the supers tonight. Fuji with great supers tonight. Thank you, Fuji. Thanks to Martin. By the way, Martin, come back and I'll hit you, and I'll make sure on Jacob Robinson, especially because he's a Utah State Aggie and BYU. But I'll double check on that one to make sure. But I think they put him on injured reserve, and they didn't do a settlement on him. Tangy, thanks for the super tonight as well. And I think that is it. Any more questions, comments, or thoughts? Like and subscribe. Thank you, Papa J. Make sure you hit that. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure that you have those alerts on as well. Anything else? I think that's it. All right. Everybody have a tremendous night. If we have any breaking news, we'll be back. If not, then we'll be back tomorrow at 7 Pacific. Everybody have a great, tremendous night.